Hello. My goodness, it's so exciting to see so many of you here. My name is Carol Davidson and I'm the executive producer of the World Science Festival, and it's my job to welcome you this evening to what is our first teacher preview evening for World Science Festival. And again, we are so delighted to see so many of you here. Thank you for responding in such a positive way. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land where we're gathering this evening and pay my respects to elders past and present. World Science Festival Brisbane inaugural this year, just in March. It seems like it's a long time ago, but it was overwhelmingly successful. On every level, we were delighted with the results, and that, of course, included our school's programming. So much so that it's much bigger and much better for 2017, and we really wanted to invite you to give you some sneak peeks at what we're doing, to give you an opportunity to actually book, have priority bookings, and to really get your feedback. We love to hear what you think of our programming. You are the experts there doing it every day, so we really value your feedback and we'd love to hear that afterwards. So we have a bit of a video to remind us all, and we just love watching this because it reminds us of what a wonderful festival we had this year.
It is so logical. The World Science Festival has come to Brisbane. This is the Southern Hemisphere counterpart, and the first one, but certainly not the last.
Sparking a conversation of science, that is the critical way of thinking about it. Think about it as a way of life, as a perspective. And that's really what this festival is about, to instill that kind of deep sense of the power of science to give a connection to the cosmos.
This is a way of getting out to an incredibly broad range of audiences, getting people really inspired and excited by science, talking about science, having fun, getting hands-on, and really coming to understand what science is and how it touches every aspect of our everyday lives.
If we are made of atoms, what holds us together?
Science is inherently fun because you start off on one pathway and you end somewhere else.
And the most important thing, I think, is to realize we are the agents of change.
This week you've had 100 of some of the world's leading scientists here.
When you're doing science, the real moments are the ones where you feel like you're staring at eternity. You're staring at something that no one else has seen before.
Hundreds of scientists are here to explain their research and their science and have that interaction with the next generation.
I'm looking forward to seeing some new things, learning new things, and hopefully I'll get to be surprised by something.
It is the first time for me to come to Australia, and I am really happy to see you today.
My favourite was the turtle hatchlings.
The kids loved it, especially the blowing up stuff.
Dinosaurs kind of like popped out from the wall.
Seeing kids to grandparents just completely engaged in science, hands-on, digging up things, talking constantly about science, and it's just been so much fun. I love that.
I love the energy and all of the enthusiasm. You see people of all ages just loving every minute of this. It's extraordinary.
Science is like the foundation of society. It helps us understand how things work and how we work.
It's cool how we can just apply it to our everyday lives.
It's got us where we are today, and it'll push us into the future.
This is a feast of good minds and good people coming to share the view of the world. And what a place to do it.
So hopefully that puts you in the mood. The Queensland Museum has a significant commitment to STEM learning, and the World Science Festival Brisbane is a stunning way for this institution to present learning programs showcasing the latest in scientific discovery and advancements in technology. This commitment has been further reinforced with the appointment of a dedicated producer for the festival's lifelong learning program, and we're thrilled to have Maho go as part of our team, and it's Maho who's responsible for you being here this afternoon, or I should say this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Maho, and I'm the lifelong learning producer for the World Science Festival. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to see everyone here tonight so that we can share with you some of our key education programs. So thank you so much. So just before I do begin my presentation, I just wanted to point out that we've got the full program or the presentation in your goodie bag. So please feel free to jot down any notes as we go along tonight. So for those of you that weren't involved last year, as Carol mentioned, we had our inaugural festival in 2016 and it was amazing. The Thursday and the Friday of that week, we had a number of programs which were dedicated to our school audiences, and it was absolutely delightful to see our building filled with students and also extending into the cultural forecourt. So before I go through our key education program with you tonight, I just wanted to quickly go through the process in which we went through to bring you some of our education programs. So understanding that children learn in different ways, we've got a variety of programs which culminates into a series of experiences and is united as a whole. So each of our education programs that you'll see tonight will have a compelling reason as to why it's there, and we want to enrich STEM literacy, and we also want to uphold best practice pedagogy so that we can inspire and enrich students from local, national and international areas. We hope to unpack what STEM means by presenting science akin to a narrative, where the aim is to delight, to provoke, and also deliver a context to which students can relate to and identify to. Our participants who we've chosen for our education program have been based on two main criteria. First of all, obviously, they had to have really unique or high achieving scientific, I suppose, the amazing, unique and exciting science that they can deliver. And secondly, they had to have really strong science communication skills so that we can really inspire kids, and also we want them to be really good at communicating to our young audiences. Most of our programs, otherwise stated, will have a recommended age group so that you can make informed choices when you're booking for our programs. But at the same time, we didn't want to exclude any of our students just because of the year levels. We'll also have some workbooks and also curriculum links to some of our programs. And I suppose our last take-home message is that not only do we want to showcase and really celebrate our scientific achievements, but we also want to make these programs as open and as accessible to as many students as possible so that we can encourage a networking of shared experiences and build a community which holds scientific processes and endeavours at its core. So, without further ado, I'd like to present to you our key education programs for 2017. And I'll go through these in detail, but what I thought I'd do is break it up into the Thursday and the Friday events. So on the Thursday, we've got Cool Jobs, the Energy Innovation Challenge, apprentice programs, Flight Club, and ANSTO's Fact or Fiction. So Cool Jobs is backed by popular demand, where we showcase 4 of the coolest jobs in the STEM field, and included in our participants, we've got our very own Queensland Museum's Dr. Tom Bridge. He is a marine biologist, and he's doing some amazing work mapping the ocean floor using 3D technology. We've also got Madeline Kirsten Flynn. She is a biomedical illustrator at QIMR Berghofer, which is a world-leading medical research institution. So we are thrilled to have them both. This will be held at the Griffith Conservatorium, and there'll be 2 shows, 9:30 and 1:30. Next up, we've got the Energy Innovation Challenge, and the aim of this program is to get as many students involved with the festival. So essentially, we are asking for students to come up with really innovative solutions around energy. And look, it can be as out there or, you know, as small as they'd like. But what we'll be doing is we'll be picking 4 finalists from these pitches, which will be submitted prior to the festival. And we'll pick 4 finalists which will be picked by Dr. Vanessa Peterson. She works at ANSTO, at the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, and she is a energy materials research scientist. And she'll be picking these finalists who will be able to participate in the Thursday final presentation event. And this event links to one of our main stage experiences entitled The Future is in Good Hands. Now, this program, we've sourced 4 amazing scientists who are all under 16, and each of these young panelists have created these amazing solutions in their fields. And what we'd like them to do is discuss why science is important as we head into the future. And this program will be moderated by Professor Brian Schmidt. And one of our participants, Hannah Herbst, she has come up with an amazing invention called the Ocean Energy Probe. And what this does is it actually converts energy generated within the ocean currents into usable energy, and she has won numerous awards in the States. And what we'd like to do is we'd like her to participate in the finals event, where she can be a mentor for the finalists for this challenge. So we're very excited for this program. And the finals challenge will be held right here at the Queensland Museum, and this is a free event. So the apprentice program, as Jeff touched on briefly, this is a really unique experience for our high school students, and essentially it gives students a taste of what it's like to work in a laboratory in a scientific institution. So currently confirmed, we've got TRI, which is a Translational Research Institute. They will be delivering the Cancer Crusaders Apprentice. And also QIMR Berghofer, who will be delivering the Microbiologist's Apprentice. And these 2 research institutions are world-class, so it's a really unique experience for these students. We've also got, through our partnership with QUT, the Roboticist's Apprentice, and this will be all about coding, which, as you all know, is an essential part for our students. Now, please keep an eye out on our website, as we'll be adding more of these apprentice programs and other programs. We are in conversations with UQ and Griffith, who are very keen to be delivering their very own apprentice programs as well. So please keep in touch. So the Lifelong Learning team here at the Queensland Museum will be delivering Flight Club. And this is a workshop, a really tangible experience for years 4 to 6. And we'll be looking at animal adaptations, especially pertaining to flight. And there's a unique opportunity where students can interact with very special Queensland Museum specimens. So ANSTO, as I mentioned before, the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation in Sydney, they are doing some amazing research down there. And they've actually created an amazing experience called Fact or Fiction, and we are very excited to be delivering this as part of our festival. Now, this is an interactive game show type experience where kids can, using their own handheld devices, smartphones, they can actually interact with the quiz game. And they'll also have a panel of esteemed scientists who will be there to essentially debunk or prove right the science that's found on the internet. So this is a free program for school students, and we'll also have an evening show on the Wednesday. So moving on to Friday, we've got our two main stage experiences. They are Automated Autos and The Future is in Good Hands. We've got Pioneers in Science, the apprentice programs again, we've got Flight Club, and National Youth Science Forum's 5 Minutes with Your Future, and Green Heart's Future BNE Challenge. So Automated Autos. So this is a really exciting conversation around new technology, from driverless cars to drones. And not only will we be looking at these new technology, but we'll be also looking at the moral and the ethical implications which will be associated with these devices. So this will be held at the Conservatorium, and this program will be offered to students for discounted prices. The Future is in Good Hands. As I touched on previously, we'll be bringing together a panel of young scientists, and as I mentioned before, it will be all about the importance of science as they grow up into our future. Pioneers in Science will be delivered again, and this is a really exciting opportunity for students where they get to ask their burning questions to our pioneer. And this year we've got confirmed Professor Ian Fraser, who pioneered the cervical cancer vaccine. And prior to the festival, we'll be asking for questions from these students, and we'll be asking for submissions, and some of these questions will be picked to be asked in the show. There will be a workbook associated with this program, and it's available online for free. So the apprentice program for the Friday, we have got the Queensland Museum's Museum Curator's Apprentice, and this is a really special experience. We've got a group of our very own Queensland Museum scientists who will be showcasing their work and their laboratories up on level 6. Again, we are excited to be partnering with QIMR Berghofer, and this time they'll be delivering the Geneticist's Apprentice. And again, QUT will be delivering their Roboticist's Apprentice. Again, we'll have Flight Club here at the Queensland Museum. And the National Youth Science Forum will be delivering their 5 Minutes with Your Future. So this is a speed chat type of experience for our students, where 20 of National Youth Science Forum's alumni will be coming in, and they'll be discussing the in-between years between when you finish Year 12 to the future career. So these alumni students, they are either newly graduated science students, or they are undergraduate students who are going through the STEM courses. We've also got our Green Hearts Future BNE Challenge again, and this will be held at the South Bank Piazza. And this is a workshop for Year 7s, and they'll be looking at the challenges around sustainable use of water right here in Brisbane. So that essentially wraps up most of our key highlights. However, as I mentioned before, please keep an eye out on our website. We will have more programs as we draw closer to the festival. And I did just want to touch on some of our other activities which will be happening throughout the festival. So we've been in conversations with GOMA, and this year in 2016 they delivered the film program on the Saturday and the Sunday. But for next year we'll be growing that film program experience to have films on the Thursday and the Friday, so that the students can take part, book in and take part. We've got a few drop-in activity spaces which will be free, and it will mainly target, I suppose, our younger audiences, so from P to 3. And we've got some activities, for example, the turtle activity, where it links nicely with our turtle hatchings. And this is where students can learn about how to identify scientifically turtle species, and they can make their very own little turtle which they can take home with them. And we've also got what is science drawing sessions. And these stations, I suppose, are asking for students to have an artistic response to science, and we'll be asking questions which pertain to the 4 curatorial streams. So that's oceans, energy, robotics, and physics and space. So Saturday and Sunday we'll have our popular street science back, and this will be spilling out into the cultural forecourt, and there'll be lots and lots of interactive fun science stations. And I suppose this will be looking mainly at the early childhood education, and one of our partnerships is with CNK, who will have a tent dedicated to their early childhood learning workshops. And also they'll be delivering a teacher PD for our early childhood educators during the festival, so please keep an eye out for more details. So moving away from our education program, I just wanted to touch briefly on some of our other experiences. Now, these are what's currently on sale, but as I said, please keep an eye out for more information, because we will have a lot more programs which will be available closer to the festival. So gravitational waves, this will have the festival creators, Professor Brian Green, who will be talking about the discovery of gravitational waves. Towards 2015, we'll be looking at renewable energies, the implications associated with it, and also the behavioural changes that we as individuals, as community, as government and institution must have to embrace a clean energy. We Don't Know What We Don't Know is a conversation around big science and how important that is as we proceed into the future. So this panel will be joined by Dr. Alan Finkel. He's Australia's chief scientist, and it's going to be a great conversation. Ocean Actions, as the name suggests, will be looking at oceans and how important it is to be looking at this as a precious resource and what we should be doing. So for 2017, we've got a Let's Talk series, and we've got 2 confirmed conversations. We've got Let's Talk Turtles, which links in very nicely with our turtle hatching, and Let's Talk Taxidermy, which links in obviously to our newly opened World State exhibition. Constellations is a partnership we've had with Queensland Theatre, and we'll be delivering this UK play, which is created by UK playwright Nick Payne. Now, he was actually influenced by Professor Brian Green, so we're going to have a very special presentation where we can have a deep and meaningful conversation about the art and the sciences mixing together. Now, what science festival doesn't have Dr. Karl in it? We've got Extreme Moments with Dr. Karl, and of course the hatchery. Turtles, big hit, and they'll be back again for 2017 right here at the Queensland Museum. So for those of you that made it tonight, we do have a very special offer. Now we'll be holding a limited amount of tickets for you, and we'll be holding it until the 25th of November. So please ensure that you book in and confirm by the end of term 4, and also make payment by the first week of term 1 in 2017. What will happen is I'll be sending you an email which will have instructions on how to book, and please book through that way. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for your attention. I'd like to invite Tanya Hall to the stage. She is Queensland Museum's Director of STEM Partnerships, and she has been overseeing some of the regional program, as well as Reena Singh, who is our regional programs producer. So Tanya Hall, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maho. This year for the World Science Festival for the regional program, we produced 2 events, one in Townsville and one in Chinchilla, and we were overwhelmed by the response that we received from the schools in those regions as well as the community members. Townsville had an extraordinary response with our schools event. We had over 250 students involved at that particular event and about 1,000 community members at the community day the following day. Chinchilla also blew us away. Again, we had approximately 200 students from years 10 to 12, and both Chinchilla and Townsville booked out within an hour of us actually going out with the details. And the community event at Chinchilla attracted 2,000 people to the event, some people driving 5 hours to get there. So it was amazing to see the thirst of everyone in those particular regions for science. So to give you a bit of a taste of what a regional program looks like, I'm going to share a video of Chinchilla.
We're at the World Science Festival. We're lucky because we're in a rural area. It's actually like the first time it's ever happened for us. Like it's the biggest thing that's ever happened in Chinchilla.
Parasitology, marine biology, photography.
Love science, absolutely love science. The experience of meeting so many different scientists will be absolutely amazing.
This morning we had an engineering workshop which we made a water filter. We spoke to people we wouldn't usually speak to and we just enjoyed and had fun.
I did maths and science.
We did a speed chat with the experts in their respective fields. We got to talk to them about what they do and their advice to us if we were considering a STEM career.
Definitely the field work. It was pretty good to hear other people's experiences and the ways they've gone into university and their choices which they had, because it helps us to understand how we can get there in the future.
Definitely I'm considering a STEM career.
I can't believe that Chinchilla's actually been the first place here in Australia outside of New York that they've been to, so it's amazing. And it seems to be really well supported. There's lots of people coming in from everywhere. I'm a teacher at Chinchilla Primary School. All of my students I've seen this morning are just everywhere, so really great event.
We saw the street science, the paleontologists, and a little bit of the parasite one.
Are all parasites our enemies?
I like the air zooka. I like how it shoots the rings of smoke out. The robots over there. I like playing with them and the elephant as well. And I like making the snow.
Well, I just think the highlight is just Chinchilla, such a small place, getting a big thing here. Pretty cool.
I just really like going around and reading all the descriptions of everything. There are so many different areas of science that it's so diverse, and that's what makes it interesting.
Just learning a lot about what has happened over the years and about meteors and everything. I just really loved it. It's really interesting for me to be here and really special.
And you're radiating infrared heat.
So following the success of this year, as you've seen with Chinchilla, we've decided to expand from 2 locations to 4 locations for our regional program. And we're going this year to Gladstone, Toowoomba, Townsville and Chinchilla. We're very excited about the program for next year. Gladstone, Townsville and Chinchilla will all be also having a schools event. So we have promoted those to the regions already, and we've got an extraordinary response with plenty of teachers and students booked in to be engaging with scientists from a variety of STEM professions and different science fields as well. So with each of those programs, we'll be giving the opportunity for students to have those interactive discussions with small groups, with scientists and STEM professionals that we'll be bringing into each of those regions. But it's not only about bringing things to those particular regions, but it's also highlighting to the students and the community members of those areas just what's on their doorstep as well. So we have plenty of local content, whether it be talking about and helping them discover the fossils in their particular region, or what kind of biodiversity is in their region. We have a couple of projects that we will be working with the community to bring out through each of those. One in particular is one that we're running through Chinchilla and Gladstone, and it's where we're seeking communities' involvement in finding spiders. So we'll be laying traps in the lead up with in residents' particular backyards that they approve of, and then our arachnologist, Dr. Robert Raven, will be coming and collecting those and then sorting them and hoping to identify some new species in that. So that's just one of the projects that are going as a result of the events in the regions. So please keep an eye on our website, because further detail will be coming as we finalise all of our speakers for those particular regional events. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. So just quickly, suggestions, comments, questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. I will most likely be your main point of contact for any education programs, and I look forward to hearing from you. So I'd like to invite Dr. Kathy Mackey up to the stage. Now, Dr. Mackey is from the Queensland Museum, not from the Queensland Museum, from the Queensland Academies, and she partook in our 2016 festival, and she is also heavily involved with the STEM Girls Camp. And I wanted to invite Dr. Mackey to tell us a little bit about her thoughts around how our festival fits into the broader education community. So thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Maho, and it's fantastic to see so many familiar faces here this evening. So my experience at the festival this year demonstrates that the festival is much more than an event, but obviously a strategy. And it allows us as teachers to transform the teaching and learning of science and art together, focused particularly on the experiential, the scientific, and cultural endeavour, but most importantly, those really new forms of participatory practices and the co-creation of new knowledge with our kids. By highlighting the work of eminent role models, these innovations themselves within the festival provide the focus for tools and approaches that most effectively prepare our young people for a new future. So the festival really transcends any perceived boundaries between the disciplines and audiences, and I think helped us really redefine, deepen and broaden our sense of external collaboration. And I feel really proud, to be a Queenslander in that it really puts Brisbane, Queensland and Australia's position in terms of that scientific partnership map really to the fore. So throughout the festival, the girls and I that participated, we very much saw creativity, design, critical thinking and innovation driving the science, and by making unusual connections and repurposing our thinking in different ways so that we really saw the opportunity to produce and be part of new live content. We're fortunate that we live in a country where gender equity, and as we've seen tonight with the announcement of Suzanne's role, and cultural diversity is supported in all areas of intellectual endeavour, so that we can, in our schools, drive and inspire that cultural change and indeed create those self-sustaining learning communities for educators, for our students, for their parents and for our communities. So as teachers, we're all aware that we share that commitment to empowering our students of all ages and from whatever region in the state they come from, and to maximise those opportunities that the festival has associated with the scientific and cultural capital that it has to offer. So we saw the fantastic work that Tanya and her team are leading out in the regions, and one of the programs that the Department of Education and Training is working on, and I'm very proud to be associated with, was the 2016 DET STEM Girl Power Camp, which was an inaugural, very exciting initiative within the DET School of the Future STEM strategy. So this strategy has 3 areas of focus: to build teacher capability to transform STEM learning, to see more students engaged in STEM learning, and to achieve excellence in STEM learning. So in March this year, the Queensland Academies played an important role in hosting this camp. 22 of Queensland's brightest Year 10 girls, who are high achievers in STEM subjects and leaders in their schools, representing each of the 7 Department of Education and Training regions, were selected through a really rigorous application process. The girls were buddied by Year 11 students from the Queensland Academy for Science and Maths and Technology, and we undertook a range of STEM-related activities, met with inspirational practitioners, and attended many of the key sessions in the festival itself. The aim of the camp was to encourage girls to participate in STEM at school, to harness their passion for change, and to be innovators, and to really encourage them to be role models for other younger girls in their regions and in their school. And this is probably the most important part of the program. It's on longevity, but also to inspire them to consider STEM future and career options, as we saw with that other lovely young girl that spoke from Chinchilla. So the camp seeks to provide these girls with the opportunities they need to develop as problem solvers and critical and creative thinkers, and lead others in a form of legacy back in their regions. So the highlights of this year's camp included meeting Professor Sylvia Earle, one of the world's most respected oceanographers, and obviously as well Bernie Hobbs, a well-known science journalist, and I think really honing that idea of science communication as being a really obvious and important way that we can share that STEM focus. They also enjoyed the opportunity to network with other experts, including climatologists and biologists, and a range of early and mid-career women scientists and researchers from the Translational Research Institute. And they also participated in a cell and molecular biology lab experience at the SparkEd Lab, which is a very unique collaboration between the department and the Diamantina Institute at UQ. And they're obviously participating next year in the apprentice program, which is fantastic. It was a privilege to work with these girls, and many of them who would not normally have had the chance to ever meet face to face and collaborate. And it was a great sense of pride to see the girls maximise these skills as legacy projects, which they shared in some examples with our younger students in the regions during National Science Week. So I'm confident that the 2017 program, and as we know, is growing to include about 70 participants, and that those girls are in safe hands as it creates a deeper sustainable strategy beyond that of the camp experience themselves, with obviously great teachers like yourselves to support them back in their regions. So we have a vision to develop an alumni program and an evidence-based research framework to measure the impact, design, scalability and the return on investment of this wonderful initiative. And so in closing, I'd like to commend all of the teachers out there, not so much for educators that might be hosting the Year 10 girls that be selected, but for those of you, particularly in the primary areas, where you would be supporting those girls as they grow and develop and really harness that passion for STEM that they might not actually be aware of in themselves yet, but that's very important that they're in your safe hands. So in closing, I'd like to commend the outstanding work of the Queensland Museum in bringing the festival, and recommend that all teachers, now many of you obviously are science educators, but perhaps if you can advocate back in your schools for, regardless of the age of your students and whatever discipline that your colleagues work in, to please relish the experience, resources, and particular the talented and creative people that contribute to such a rich scientific and cultural program that we have in Brisbane, to ensure that our students are tomorrow's leaders and entrepreneurs. So we look forward to seeing you there next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. So 2017 Brisbane Festival team have been working very closely with the New York Festival team to bring you a really exciting program. And just before we conclude tonight, I'd just like to share with you a message which we received from the one and only Alan Alda.
Hello, I'm Alan Alda, and I'm so excited that the World Science Festival is returning to Brisbane in 2017. It was really a thrill for me to be there and be part of the first festival in Brisbane this past March. Seeing the play I wrote about Albert Einstein performed by such extraordinary Australian actors, and then talking on stage with Brian Greene about Einstein's work, they're both cherished memories for me. And this kind of collaboration between art and science is what makes the World Science Festival Brisbane so exciting. Congratulations to the Queensland Museum and to all the partners who contributed to the festival on the achievement of such fantastic results. For 5 days, Brisbane was the epicenter of scientific discovery and artistic creativity. New audiences were inspired, and those who were already lovers of science had the chance to explore the wonders of nature in a brand new way. At its core, World Science Festival Brisbane embodies the creativity, the fun, and the sheer excitement of discovery. And I can't wait to see what the 2017 lineup of programs will be. I wish you every success for another jaw-dropping event.